We probably scrap around $40,000 a month in parts. So 40 grand for, a smaller company is a lot. And those numbers add up. And in medical, it's in the million.
Are there any crazy stories that you've had while you're doing kind of this quality testing where people's minds would be blown if they knew the stuff that you find?
The things that would blow people's mind, I guess, would be
Most people think manufacturing's dirty, boring, or dying. They're dead wrong. This is Manufacturing Runs the World. We're here to fix the misconceptions, teaching the next generation how modern manufacturing really works and why it matters more than ever.
Yeah, and I did a little bit of research and just kind of browsed LinkedIn and noticed that you're on the quality side. Is there a specific industry that you focus in?
I actually have kind of a verse background. So I was in medical device for about 10 years. What we made there was basically, it's called liquid chromatography machines. So when you get your blood work done or anything like that, yeah, those are the machines that'll analyze it. So the best way to describe it is if you had an Olympic-sized swimming pool and you put a single drop of blood inside, we'd be able to tell you how much sugar was in that drop of blood. So that's how accurate those were.
That's a good analogy.
But now I'm over at SwissTurn, and they're more kind of a job shop. So we do a little bit of medical, some defense, firearms, and just kind of OEM stuff off the shelf.
Okay.
Right. So when you have a production line, right, you kind of know how the whole assembly goes together. And from a quality point of view, if something is incorrect or maybe out, I can usually identify this is going to be acceptable based on the usage.
Right.
Without having that information, it's much tougher to make a disposition based off that.
From what I understand about like defense contracts, you might not know where this little part goes. And
Oh, yeah, they tell you nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all NDAs and just make this part and don't ask questions.
Are there any crazy stories that you've had while you're doing kind of this quality testing where people's minds would be blown if they knew the stuff that you find?
The things that would blow people's mind, I guess, would be actually how much good product is stopped through quality.
Yeah.
So we hold very tight tolerances, especially in medical device, and those parts very well could work perfectly fine with no issues at all from the end user. But the sheer dollar value in millions of dollars of parts that are rejected from quality and not sent out the door that no one would ever know that they were bad.
Yeah.
I think that is actually a number that would shock people of how much good parts we throw away.
Then what happens to the part if it's no good? It just goes in the trash heap or what?
Yeah, so, you recycle the metal.
Yeah.
So like ITAR, weapons, stuff like that, we have specific ways to dispose of that. But yeah, it gets junked. Some of it we'll try to do a rework process and try to get it back into tolerance. If it's bad and I deem it not to meet the print, then it goes right in the trash. We probably scrap around $40,000 a month in part. It's scrapped right out the door. So 40 grand for, a smaller company is a lot. And those numbers add up. And in medical, it's in the millions. So it puts a lot of pressure on quality as well.
Well, right. But there's a cost. If you would let it go out the door, there's potentially way bigger cost, right? Potentially like a lawsuit and the end of business if something goes out the door and fails.
And the reputation, right? So I always kind of use an analogy where you order this custom Mustang and we say 6 weeks, right? We'll give it to you in 6 weeks. Well, you get it within 6 weeks and it breaks down, right? Now you got to send it back. Okay. And it keeps breaking down. That's the other thing. It takes 18 weeks to get your Mustang, but you have never had to do a single thing to that Mustang for 10 years. You are going to completely forget that it was twice as long that you had to wait for it. But you'll always remember that you got it on time and there was something wrong every other month that you had to fix it.
Yeah.
If we're late on a delivery and if they never have to touch it and it's perfect, they'll forgive us, right? It's going to be good. But we make that delivery time and now we got to return or they're sending it back and we got to remake it. That's just going to taint the brand, the product, everything.
So how does one get into that? Like what attracted you to that specific niche within manufacturing?
Kind of fell into it.
Okay.
Well, I actually went to a vocational school, high school, for CNC manufacturing. And from there, it kind of naturally progressed, right? I worked with one of the engineers at the medical firm and, helped him kind of get to a root cause. And he said, hey, that'd be great. Would you join our inspection group? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. That'd be great. I don't have to get dirty every day anymore, right? And then from there, I went into operations quality, and then I went into supplier quality based off my machining background. And then that's how I kind of just fell into this quality role because there's not a lot of machinists left, right? It was kind of a dying breed 10 years ago. So it's important in quality to kind of have that background so you understand how things are made. People asking me to join the group and kind of pick my ideas on how something is machined. You know, everybody wants to be a mechanical engineer and design stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's fun, but you get to do that in quality as well.
And I got to think the pressure with your job has to be kind of intense at times, right? Is there a mental game going on at your work with either getting production out the door, but also balancing quality?
Oh, yeah. They want it out the door. I'm trying to slow it down to make sure it's good. But then it's also a mental game with customers as well, right? Because they want their parts quick. There is a lot of pressure to it because their end user doesn't like it, right? So kind of some of the mind games internally, you learn how to word things differently.
Well, you bring up a good point. So I know that there are tons of different measuring tools in manufacturing. Can you give us an idea, or do you have like a favorite tool that you use in measurement?
I have two favorites. One is a standard micrometer. It age tested, perfect for just about anything, OD measurements. The other one would be a Zeiss CMM. The technology on those is incredible, and you can really inspect anything.
Yeah.
Right. And they even allow you to import CAD models right into their software and create your program from there. So I was a CMM programmer for the medical company, and the Zeiss CMM equipment is top notch there. It's the reason they're probably number one in their field. The two most important things anybody that wants to manufacture parts should have 100%.
Is there a technology stack that you guys are using in production that kind of helps you keep track of all this stuff? Because I imagine, if they engineered something wrong, you find it. Does that get marked in kind of some system, or how do you guys track that? I know like SolidWorks has a bunch of stuff for the engineering and design process.
So we use SolidWorks for our prints and all that other stuff. And then we also have an ERP system, and that kind of really tracks the rest of the business, NCRs, shipments, supply and demand, inventory, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So those are the two we use.
Yeah. So then you find an issue with a part, then you enter it in your ERP system, and then production just has to figure out where in line that has to be fixed.
Well, my inspection group, as they're going through their inspections that they think is bad or know is bad, they will create a red tag. They'll print that out, and then they will put that into our MRB location. So we make sure to isolate, tag, and segregate the parts out of production. And then when they make that red tag, it'll go into the ERP system so we can track it and see it from there. And then from there, I'll go into the MRB area and I'll look over the parts, verify failures, see if we can use it, and then make a disposition there.
Okay. And that's probably pretty typical in any fabrication shop that they have some type of similar system.
Oh, they better. They better. Most shops right now are ISO 9001 certified. So that's another thing I do is auditing for ISO. And basically, for anybody that doesn't know, ISO 9001 is very easy to get, and it gives credibility to a manufacturer. All it is we have a process and we stick to the process. So if that is your process and they audit you and you don't do inspections, then you pass. So it's basically just, we say what we do and we do what we say, and that's all it is.
Right.
So that's why most shops are 9001 now.
And how does someone in your field kind of stay up with the ever-changing technology, especially with like automation and Industry 4.0 type stuff being the latest trend of things?
And a lot of it you'll actually learn from other companies, right? So a lot of cross-functional. When I was in supplier quality, and even now, you try to build a good relationship with your customers and kind of see what automation they find. If someone does come up with some new robotics or some sort of system like that, the bigger company will start developing their own. Kind of almost like a shortcut I found for me, where I reach out to the big companies because they're keeping an eye on all their competitors.
That's great information. That's probably a cheaper method too. It's like, oh, for this small upgrade, you can have this new AI feature.
Exactly.
I mean, speaking of AI, is there ways that AI is kind of dripping into your field, specifically what you do?
Not at the moment. We're trying to get into it a little more, but I kind of trust my gut more than I would automation, right? So we do use, universal robots for, simple inspections or, processes. But from a quality point of view, I want to feel the part. I want to see the part. I want to see how it works,
Right.
confirm our failures and be more hands-on with it.
Is there any lasting things you want to say about SwissTurn, or any inspiring words of wisdom you want to give to the next generation of engineers and machinists?
My path, I don't have a degree, right? So I'm, maybe 8 classes away, but I definitely think that it can be done. I work with a lot of people that don't have degrees that go into engineering, and don't give up on yourself. There will be tough days and you will have jobs that are terrible, but they will lead to a path on where you want to go. So I think make sure you focus on hands-on and learning the skill. And if you have that skill, people will hire you in higher level engineering. College can be great, but they don't teach you how metal is cut.
Yeah.
They've never seen it up close. The experience that I had machining has paid off tenfold in my life. And I think any kid out there right now should definitely take the investment now into themselves and learn that skill. And they can, if I can do it and I'm dumb as a box of rocks, anybody can do it.
But I largely feel the same way, so feel you on that one. But I think that you just have such an interesting career path. Have a good one, Jake.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.